Hello, this is John Smith with Xtrop Networks, and today we're going to do a quick demo of several different CrowdStrike APIs and an integration with those with our RevealX platform. So in the scenario I'm going to use today, and I'm going to start it and then I'm going to walk us through. But here I've got a reverse shell running right here, and I am going to go ahead and from my Windows victim, I'm going to go ahead and connect to that. So I'm going to load some fileless malware. There you see I've got a session there, session 1. So let me just, while this is running, let me just walk through what we're going to do. So again, we've got our reverse shell started. So what's happening is this system goes out to my GitHub site, Packet Jockey, and downloads some fileless malware. What that fileless malware does is allows it to set up a reverse shell with a known threat intelligence match. So this is where RevealX and Falcon API are going to work together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to query the MAC address and IP address, and we're going to ask Falcon, hey, do you have an asset ID for this IP? Then it's going to give us the asset ID. We're then going to query ThreatGraph to get the process name and process ID. Once we get that back from ThreatGraph, we're going to start an RTR, a real-time response session, and we're going to kill that process. So if we want to watch this play out, we can see here in Humio that we've gotten a threat intelligence match. So as this continues to work through, and I'll just bring this guy over so you can watch it play out, you'll see another detection. Or another log there. So here you see that we've issued a command to kill process 2604. So if I go to sessions, I'll look here and you'll see process 2604 is PowerShell, which is what is running our reverse shell here. So now let me bring these guys over, and you can see what's happened is it has actually killed that session, right? We get a lot of requests for to demo the quarantine, right? And quarantine is great, and we can do that very easily, but it can create collateral damage. What if you quarantine your key domain controller or a production SQL server? This is an example of a tactical strike where we're working with 3 different Falcon APIs, and we are basically getting the asset ID. Here, let me bring up the chart again here. So again, we've gotten the asset ID from Falcon API. ThreatGraph has given us the process ID, and then from there, if we will ask the real-time response to kill that session. So for things that you can't lock down, live off the land techniques like using certutil, netuse, netshare, netenum, right? Those are incumbent commands, and it's hard to lock those down without impacting the system. Well, here they're still accountable because we observe the malfeasance on the wire, and we'll kill those processes. Also, if it's a 0-day and we don't have a hash for it yet, that's also very valuable. Likewise, we get some nice detections here, and this is what XDR is truly about. So if I refresh this, what you'll see is a couple of things. Here we have a threat graph correlation. So again, we've observed something on the network, and we've asked ThreatGraph to decorate this. RevealX is a passive wire data solution, so we don't have process info, but Falcon does. So by leveraging ThreatGraph, we can basically ask ThreatGraph, hey, what process connected to this malicious site? So if I look here, I can click on the investigation link. This takes a while to load, so I'm going to just let this load. But basically, you have a detection that highlights and decorates both network data and endpoint detection data. Here I can pivot over to the host section if I want to go ahead and leverage the containment capabilities, if I want to put it in containment, if I want to dig a little deeper. So here again, if we want to peel the onion back with Falcon Investigate, and then also we have a link to the indicator search. So if you want to click that, here you can basically come in here and see who else it's talked to, right? Who else has gone to this site? So there you have another indicator search there. So again, this is an example of how we can decorate that. Likewise, we can do it with your SIEM. Here you see in Humio, we have some detections, and we've been able to basically give you the network data and the endpoint data in the same UI, right? And so now it makes the instant response much faster. Here you have an interesting detection. We've also used Splunk for this, where again you'll see non-standard HTTP port, right? Well, what does that mean? That means somebody went to port 10,000. Well, CrowdStrike uses port 10,000. So, you know, seeing this on the network has some context. It is non-standard and you want to investigate it. But the big thing is if it's Firefox, if it's IE, if it's Chrome, well, it's probably an iframe or something like that. But in this case, we see the detection on the network, but we also see here that it's not a browser. It's actually PowerShell that's connecting to that IP address on a non-standard port. That's an entirely different set of context than just telling you that, hey, someone connected to a non-standard port. Well, okay, that's certainly worthy of investigating. But the second part of that is, well, they connected to a non-standard port, but they didn't use a browser. They used PowerShell, or they used some, you know, DGA-derived executable, right? And so those are instances where, again, you can paint additional context by leveraging the two platforms together. So again, we leveraged 3 different APIs today. I know that went pretty fast, but we used the normal Falcon API to get the asset ID. We used the ThreatGraph API to get information about the process. And then, just in case, if it's not something that Falcon detects and quarantines, but if they're misusing an internal command, we can also issue an RTR session to kill that process. We can also dump that process, upload it to your Falcon Complete sandbox, right, and start your forensic activity too. If somebody changes a hash to try to fool your detector, we can basically do a number of things. Anything that's available in real-time response can be leveraged via the RevealX and the API integration. Again, this is a bit of a long video. Thanks for sticking it out. Again, this is John Smith with Extra Hop Networks. Have a great day.